The first stage in the production of our award-winning single malt Welsh whisky is the delivery of the barley, sourced and malted for us by expert maltsters. 28 tons of malted barley are delivered, unloaded, and then deposited in our malt bins via the malt conveyor and elevator. Each time we mash, 1.5 tons of malted barley is drawn into our mill and ground down into grist, a coarse mix of husks, flour, and meal. The composition of the grist is very important. Too high in flour and it will be too fine, obstructing the plates on the inside of the mash tun. Too high in husks and meal, and we can't get to the sugars on the inside. The grist is fed into the mash tun along with around 6,000 litres of hot water sourced from our own natural spring beneath the distillery. We call this process mashing in. The mix is then allowed to rest, allowing the sugars to begin leaching out from the barley and into the hot water. After resting, the liquid begins to circulate out of the mash tun and into the maze of pipes beneath. During circulation, we keep a close eye on the sugary water, now known as the wort, as it passes through the pipes via a sight glass. For the first few minutes, it is cloudy, but soon it will become crystal clear. At this point, it is ready to enter the washback. The wort from the mash tun is collected in the washback with yeast added to kickstart fermentation. Once the washback is around a third full, we add another 2,000 or so litres of water, slightly hotter than last time, into the mash tun through spray nozzles in a process known as sparging. Meanwhile, the wort is still being collected in the washbacks. By the way, each of our washbacks holds 7,500 litres of wort. When the washback is full, the sugary wort drawn from the mash tun will be diverted into one of our hot liquor tanks. This will be used as the hot water when we mash in next time. We add another few thousand litres of water into our mash tun, even hotter than last time, by sparging again. We keep drawing into the hot liquor tank until there is no more sugary liquid left in the mash tun. At this point, the mash is complete. The barley remaining in the mash tun is known as the draff. This is given to a local farmer who uses it as feed for his animals. Meanwhile, inside the washbacks, the wort is fermenting. Over the course of 3 days, the yeast will convert the sugars within the wort into alcohol, producing heat and carbon dioxide as byproducts. The fermentations will be watched carefully by the distillery team. We need to convert as much sugars into alcohol as possible. After 3 days, inside the washbacks, the wort is now known as wash. The wash is pumped into our stills for distillation. Penderyn Distillery has 2 unique single pot stills designed by Dr. David Faraday. At the start of each distillation, 2,500 litres of wash is pumped into each pot still before it is sealed shut and heated by steam. As the wash begins to bubble and boil, the vapours evaporate, rising into the column above. The column contains plates, each containing many holes through which the vapours rise before condensing back down as liquid. This interaction of liquid and vapour within the column allows us a smooth, pure spirit. The vapours continue to rise until they push through into the second column, where again they rise up through plates and the process begins again. The condensed liquid collected at the base of the second column is pushed back into the column and the process begins again. Product is drawn from the Penderyn stills at around 90% alcohol by volume from the 7th plate within the second column. The completely clear, fruity, light, delicate, and incredibly smooth liquid flows into our spirit safe. The spirit from each and every distillation is assessed and sampled by our distiller to ensure it reaches the required standard for producing great whiskey. Any spirit drawn below our lower cut point is collected as feints. The cut is what we call the high strength spirit that will go on to become whiskey, whereas feints are low in alcohol and redistilled. Feints are a heavy, oily spirit with some off notes in the aroma, so aren't suitable for maturation. We collect this and add it to the wash for the next distillation, again, nothing is wasted. In 2014, the original Penderyn stills were joined by a pair of more traditional pot stills. These produce a spirit slightly heavier than that from the original Penderyn stills, but still fruity in flavour. 2,500 litres of wash will go into the wash still, then boiled up until the vapours rise into the neck of the still. The vapours continue to build until they push through the line arm, through the condenser, falling as low wines into our spirit receiving vessel. Low wines are the equivalent of faints in the pot still, are low in alcohol and so are redistilled. This continues until there is no more alcohol left in the wash in the still. The low wines are then pumped into the spirit still, where they are again boiled up until the vapours again push through the line arm and condenser before falling as spirit into our spirit safe. At around 73% alcohol by volume, or ABV, the spirit is collected as product. Outside of our cut points, the spirit is collected as foreshots and feints, and will be collected in a separate chamber, ready to be added to the low wines for the next spirit still distillation. Foreshots is the name for the first spirit to come off the still. Foreshots are high in alcohol but contain too many volatile compounds, so are redistilled. Again, the spirit from each and every distillation is assessed by our distiller to monitor its quality. Once the spirit safes are full, the liquid, now known as new make spirit, will be collected and transferred into our spirit receiving vessels, ready for transportation to our warehouse, where it will be matured in casks.
Your guide will join you shortly to explain the casking process and tell you more about maturation and the selection of our casks for bottling.